And let's stay in North London, but let's move across to Arsenal and let's kind of dissect what they need. So obviously they do need to invest heavily. They obviously currently have no striker except for Eddie Nketiah, so that is the focus for Arsenal. I don't care what they want to sign; they need to get a number 9 through the door because your number 9 is the catalyst for the way you play. If you've got someone like I don't know, if you've got someone like Aguero as your number 9, you play differently to if you were to have fucking Peter Crouch as a number 9, right? So they need to identify the number 9 they want. They need to identify the pillar, the talisman for their team, and then the rest of the team will build itself around that striker. And I've gone with a pretty boring one, a pretty conventional one. It's Gianluca Scammaca from Sassuolo. It's very boring. It's not original. You've probably heard this signing a million times, or this potential signing a million times before, but he's the perfect striker for Arsenal. He's tall, powerful, technical, can get other players into the game because he's 6'10" tall, whatever he is. He's 65 metres tall. He can hold the ball up, can bring Saka, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Martinelli into the game. He can take the game by the scruff of the neck as well. He's shown with 16 goals this season in Serie A. He shows that he can really take the game by the scruff of the neck, drive at the defence, and be that kind of intimidating number 9 that Arsenal have lacked ever since Henry, really, or Van Persie. They have lacked that intimidation up front since Van Persie. Giroud didn't really offer that. Aubameyang didn't really offer that. Lacazette certainly not, and Nketiah almost definitely not. So if they can get Scamacca through the door, he could be that intimidation factor for them, as well as being able to take the game by the scruff of the neck, score goals, get other players into the game. As you bring up his heat map here, you can see that he likes to... You can almost see a pattern with this heat map. You can see that he likes to drift, almost hold the ball up in this kind of zone 14 style, maybe in between the lines, give the ball out wide or give the ball to a midfielder and then make that charge into the box. You can see a big maybe spike or a big heavy increase in the heat map on the penalty spot and also just maybe 30 yards out from goal. So Scamacca could be that guy. Now, obviously, there is a lot of things that he hasn't really proven it for a prolonged period of time. He is kind of unproven in a sense. He is kind of no one really knows what we're going to get from him. But Arsenal need to take calculated risks. They need to take calculated risks because they've been gone too predictable too many times. They've gone too safe too many times. We've seen that they've already signed Marquinhos from Brazil, another exciting player potentially in the mould of Martinelli. So yeah, they need to take risks, bold risks, and they need to identify players before they're valuable. That's what good clubs do. That's why Liverpool, like Mane, Salah, Firmino, they weren't high in demand when they got them, but they got them before everyone wanted them. And now look at where they are. Look at Man City. Look at maybe Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne. These guys who weren't in high demand, but they got them in. They nurtured them, and now look at where they are. Arsenal need to start developing that habit. They've already done it with Martinelli. Obviously, they've got their fantastic youth academy with Smith Rowe and Saka. They might have already started to identify that with someone like a Sambi Lokonga, who hasn't really announced himself quite yet. But Arsenal need to rebuild. I feel they're just lacking a couple of key areas. The number 9 is one of them. And if they can get Scamacca through the door, and if he can hit the ground running, he's their pillar for the next decade. He's their guy. And like I said, he is able, when you have that number 9 through the door, when you have that solid number 9 through the door, you are able to build the rest of the team around him. Like I said, he's very tall, very powerful, so he can be that target man. But he's also very technical, so he can drop in kind of like what a Harry Kane does for Spurs, drop into that hole and then really feed off the runners on the outside. Because one of the key facets of Arsenal's game last year was the contribution from Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, and that was with a striker in Lacazette who was an okay hold-up man, but that wasn't his job. That he isn't a hold-up man. He isn't a target man. So if you can get Scamacca through the door, he will be that piece to be that backboard for that really talented midfield to get onto the ball and allow and give Arsenal the outlet and the output rather that they have shown that they can. Because I kind of got carried by that quartet in midfield last year. No, the Nketiah and Aubameyang and Lacazette didn't really score the goals that they needed them to. So if they can just add 15, 16, 17 goals a season from Scammaca, you never know, man. They could really challenge for top four. And if they don't get Scammaca through the door, other players they could be looking at Patrick Schick from RB Leipzig, another player maybe not as similar as Scammaca. Obviously, a little bit doesn't have the physical presence that Scammaca does, but he's technical, has a brilliant eye for goal, and can be versatile as well. Can score in the air, can score with the ball at his feet. And another player, someone like a Kelechi Iheanacho, hasn't really been, obviously wasn't given the chance at Man City, moved to Leicester, hasn't really found the form, and I feel like what he needs is to kick up the arse and get that move to a big team and give him the responsibility. I feel like he's got the pace, got the technical ability, got the striker's instinct, and whatever striker that they do pick, they need to pick it soon so they can build the rest of the team around him. I think it's Scammaca, but let me know let me know your thoughts. If it's someone else, maybe they don't even need a striker, maybe they need to focus on centre midfield or defender or whatever. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But let's move on, and let's move on to obviously let's stay in London. Let's get